I hope all of you are coming for the Japa retreat at 10 o'clock. Please come. It's a great opportunity. We wantedly did not keep an online link because we all wanted to come out. So please come out of your houses and come and join the session at Green Grace if you're in Hyderabad. It starts at 10 o'clock and the whole day, right? Whole day session. जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल श्री 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 राधा मदन मोहन की जय श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय श्री निताय गौरंग भगवान की जय श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह स्वामी प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्री पंच तत्व की जय श्री ब्रह्म मध् भगवाड़ी गुरु परंपरा सांप्रदाय की जय ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय निताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंदे हरि 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 बोल। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नंदगोपः कुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतिस्वे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हुकुम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपः तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्री परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ओम पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सभ्याभ्यन्तरं शुचे। श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु। चेतोदर्पणमर्जनं भवमहाद्भवाग्निर्वापम् श्रेयकैरिव चंद्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वत्मस्थापनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनं। नामकारि बहुडानि च सर्वशक्तिस्तत्रातिपानियमिता स्मरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृप भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशं ह्य जानन्नुरागः तृणादपि सुनिचेनातरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमाननीय मानदेन कीर्तनय सदा हरि। न धनं न जनं न सुंदरीं कवितं वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतद्भक्तिरहोइतकी त्वयि। अयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करपतितमां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजधूलिसदर्शं विचिन्तय नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुधाय गिरा पुलकिर्निचितं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति। युगायितं निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्रवर्षायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दं विरहेण मे। आश्लिष्य वा पादरतं पिनस्तु मामादर्शनं वर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा विदहतो लम्पतो मात् प्रणनाथस्तु एव न पर। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Matajis, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. So happy to see all of you. Actually, today Yugal Kishore Prabhuji was supposed to speak, but it so happened that he runs a whole US congregation. As you must all be aware that he preaches in America, and he didn't tell me. I mean, Balgand Prabhu didn't tell me that he has a class every Saturday and Sunday, mandatory, which he spends with his group of devotees and followers. So in the last minute, he told that he's not going to take today's class, and I'm stunned and I don't know what to do. Then I said, okay, what is there to do? We can always read Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam has to be read. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. But then I also felt, okay, he is not going to be in the class, but we can keep his presence in the class by discussing some things about him, right? Some memories about him also as part of the class. So then I said, okay, let's go ahead and read Bhagavatam and discuss whatever will inspire us in our devotional service. So I'm very grateful. Subara Prabhu, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji, Padma Mataji, Hare Krishna, Balamani Mataji,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Sanjay Prabhu, Dandot Pranam
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Thank you. Oh, Usha Mataji, you joined. Hare Krishna. I'm so sorry
Yes,
to.
Prabhuji. Today I joined. I saw Mangalarati, everything. It's wonderful, Prabhuji.
I'm
It
so
was
sorry
really
to.
wonderful. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. You are seeing me instead of Yugal Kishore
No,
Prabhu.
not at all, Prabhuji. You are my first Siksha
No.
Guru.
I'm nobody.
I attended SSR from you only, Prabhuji. I heard all this and I got faith. Thank you so much. I can't forget that.
Please come for today's session, Mataji, if possible.
Yeah,
At least for
Prabhuji,
some
I'm
time.
coming, Prabhuji. Sure.
Wonderful. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Shri Gopal Prabhu, Punna Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Anand Ram Narasimhan Prabhu, Charanya Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Dandvat Pranam Prabhuji.
Praveen Prabhu and Suma Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Shri Giriraj Prabhu, Lavanya Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Dandvat Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Dandot Pranam Mataji, Padmavati Mataji, Hare Krishna. Vanilla Mataji, Dandot Pranam, Hare Krishna. Satyadev Prabhu, Shri Vali Mataji, Dandot Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Dandvat Pranam Prabhuji.
Yeah, Lakshmi Mataji, Dandot Pranam, Hare Krishna. Rajesh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Thank you for joining. So
Thank
many
you,
wonderful souls. Radhika Mataji, Dandot Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna. Deepa Mataji, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Padma Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Revati Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Dandvat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Amit Prabhu, Hari Bol, he also joined. Dandot Pranam, Hare Krishna. Madhusudan Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Kiran Prabhu, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji. Dasraj Prabhu and Manasa Mataji, Sudhakar Prabhu and whole family, Dandot Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Dandvat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Soumya Mataji, thank you for joining. Sujata Mataji, Dandot Pranam Mataji. Yeah, I think some devotees from Balgund Prabhu's group are also joining today because they were expecting Yugal Kishore Prabhu to be here. Meenu Mataji, Dandot Pranam, and very happy birthday to Daksh today.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, Satya Prabhu has also joined. Satya Prabhu is joining from some other location. Dandot Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Dandvat Pranam Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sorry to disappoint you, Prabhuji. Today there was a slight change in the schedule last minute, and I was told that he is not going to give the Bhagavatam class. Hare Krishna. Sunil Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Samyukta Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Dandvat Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All of you for joining. Gomati Mataji, Teja Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Siddhi Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Mahendra Prabhu, Hari Bol. So nice to meet all of you, on a Saturday morning. It just feels like, back in the family. Satsangs are so important. Without satsang, life is so dry. But I humbly request all of you, come out of your this online thing, right? Online thing is not life. It is not life. Come out of that online. Start coming to online, in-person satsangs. Get back the sweetness and devotion. The only thing that you don't taste is sweetness through online. Not only the sweetness of devotees, even the sweetness of prasadam, right? You don't taste to online. How would you like, I'm sure all of you get these seasonal greetings, right? Some shop fellow will, some Ford Motors or some Toyota Motors or somebody will send you the seasonal greetings to your email ID, because you had some past dealing, right? Or then a small child would come and write 2 lines on a greeting card and give it to you, happy birthday or happy Diwali. Which one is more touching? Tell me, that the 2 lines or that big seasonal greeting coming from some showroom to undisclosed recipients, right? It is not. The small girls 2 lines is 1,000 million times more sweeter than all those big greetings that we get from outside. Similarly, the online sessions cannot. I mean, they were a way out. They were a way out at a certain time that we all remain in devotion. Forget about bringing more people to devotion. That we all remain in devotion. We are not bereft of association. We started online. But now I'm seeing that many devotees are making it as an alternative choice instead of actually coming out and putting the effort, right, to come to a satsang. Prabhuji and Mataji's, Lord Krishna sees our effort in how much we endeavor for satsang, how much we sacrifice our comforts for coming to satsang, how much we are eager to meet devotees. That's all shown in our act of coming. So, one of the biggest challenges that the government and everybody faced was to mask people. Nobody guessed that to unmask also is such a big challenge now. Right? People are not unmasking now. They're like just putting the masks. Even my sons, I see, they're still putting masks. I'm like, come on, take it easy. It's over. Finish. Come on, let's unmask. When it comes, we'll see. But people are taking a lot of time to unmask, right? So we have to unmask. We have to come out of the shells. We have to come out and travel. I know devotees who have traveled 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers to come to a satsang in Hyderabad. I know devotees. But now I'm seeing people are getting very accustomed to online classes and recordings. Prabhu, send your recording, we'll see. Or send, that's the reason. One of the things I'm doing is, in going forward in any of the in-person satsangs, even if 3 people come, 2 people come, that's enough. But I'm not going to put an online link. No more online links, and recording I'll post after 20 days. There is no discussion of seeing the recording also, because somehow we have to remind people that they please come to satsangs. And all the preachers also are starting the satsangs in person, no more online. And we'll go back to our old days where we all come, greet each other, hug each other, nicely sit down and hear the katha, dance at the end, have prasadam at the end, right? This is our format. This is the format given by Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, so we'll try to follow that and benefit by attending this. Yeah.
We will miss the classes. మేము చాలా దూరంలో ఉన్నాం కదా మరి.
ఎవరు మాతాజీ?
బాలమణి మాతాజీని ధర్మవరంలో ఉంటాం కదా.
హరే కృష్ణ, హరే కృష్ణ. మీకు రావాల్సిన క్లాస్ కృష్ణుడు పంపిస్తారు, డోంట్ వరీ. మీరు ఇంకోటి మీరు ఏం చేయాలంటే, దూరం ఉన్నారంటే కృష్ణుడు ఏం చెప్తున్నాడంటే, అక్కడ గుడి లేదు, మీరు అక్కడ గుడి కట్టియాలి కనుక మీరే అక్కడ కూర్చొని నలుగురిని పిలిచి చదవాలని చెప్తున్నాడు. సో అది కూడా సంగమే.
ఆ సేవ కూడా ప్రారంభిద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాను.
హరిబోల్, హరిబోల్. అనుకోవద్దు, టైం లేదు, తొందర ప్రారంభించేసేయండి.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
హరే కృష్ణ పద్మామాతాజీ, హరిబోల్.
Please don't miss this Saturday, Sunday online morning, because at least that we will have.
Yeah. No, Saturday, Sunday morning will be there. I was going to do some announcements that you will not see me and Subara Prabhu on Sunday mornings going forward. So Sunday mornings we will be going and doing Bhagavad Gita classes near my home Avatar in the temple from 7:30 to 10, right? So we will not be there for the morning Bhagavatam class. We'll be there for the chanting though. On Saturdays, you will see all of us continuing the same format where we will do a round robin, coming and doing sessions on Saturdays and Ekadashis, of course, right? So we're going to continue that way. So let's read some verse and then we will discuss it and see how it applies to our life, right? So once again, for devotees who have joined late, you have not heard the announcement. You might be thinking, where is Yugal Kishore Prabhu? What happened to the saffron color? Why is the white fellow sitting here? So the answer is, Prabhuji got busy. He had a different class to take. And he's also very eager to meet all of us in person for the 10 o'clock session. Please come to Green Grace Apartments. So for now, you'll have to tolerate me giving this class. Hare Krishna. So let's read from Bhagavatam. Yeah. Fifth canto, the verses are very difficult to recite in a meter, you know. So, but they are very sweet chapters there. So I'll try to recite 5 words at a time. Please try to repeat after me. Can you all see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Fifth
Prabhu.
canto, 15th chapter, 7th verse. Savai swadharmena prajapalana
धर्मेण प्रजापालना
Poshana Prinano Palananu Sanana
पोषण प्रणपालनानुशासना
Poshana Prinananu Palananu Shasana
पोषण प्रेणानपालनानुशासना
Lakshani Nejyadina Cha Bhagavati Mahapurushe
लक्ष्मानि जयदिना च भगवति महापुरुषे
Paravare Brahmani Sarvatmana Prita
परवारे ब्रह्माणि सर्वात्मनः
Paramartha Lakshana Brahmavich Charanu Swayapidita
परमार्थलक्षणेन ब्रह्मवितरणा अनुसेवापदिता
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogena Chabhikshasa Paribhavitati
भगवद् भक्ति योगेन अभिक्षासाः प्रतिभाविताः
Sudhamatir Uparatana Sudhamatir Uparatanatmya Atmani
सुधामति उपरातनात्मया आत्मानि
Swayam Upalabhya Mana Brahmatmanubhavo
स्वयं उपलभ्यमान ब्रह्मात्मनो
Api Nirabhimana Evavanim Ajugupat
निराभिमान एवानि अजुगुपत्
Hare Krishna. Hey Lord Krishna, please forgive me for the mistakes. We'll not do the word to word. It's a very long verse. We'll directly do the translation. Yeah. So translation also, you can hear me very clearly and then we'll discuss. Okay. So we're not repeating the translation. We're just hearing now. Translation and translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Gaya gave full protection and security to the citizens so that their personal property would not be disturbed by undesirable elements. He also saw that there was sufficient food to feed all the citizens. This is called Poshana. He would sometimes distribute gifts to the citizens to satisfy them. This is called Prinana. He would sometimes call meetings and satisfy the citizens with sweet words. This is called Upalalana. He would also give them good instructions on how to become first-class citizens. This is called Anushasana. Such were the characteristics of King Gaya's royal order. Besides all this, King Gaya was a householder who strictly observed the rules and regulations of household life. He performed sacrifices and was an unalloyed pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was called Mahapurusha because as a king, he gave the citizens all facilities. And as a householder, he executed all his duties so that at the end, he became a very strict devotee of the Supreme Lord. As a devotee, he was always ready to give respect to other devotees and to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. This is the Bhakti Yoga process. Due to all these transcendental activities, King Gaya was always free from the bodily conception. He was full in Brahman realization, and consequently, he was living jubilant. He did not experience material lamentation. Although he was perfect in all respects, he was not proud, nor was he anxious to rule the kingdom. Hare Krishna. So, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, when he descends to the earth, he has two types of business: to give protection to the faithful and annihilate the demons. Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam. Since the king is representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is sometimes called Naradeva, that is the Lord as a human being. According to the Vedic injunctions, he is worshipped as God on the material platform. As a representative of Supreme Lord, the king had the duty to protect the citizens in a perfect way so that they would not be anxious for food, and protection so that they would be jubilant. The king would supply everything for their benefit, and because of this, he would levy taxes. If the king or government otherwise levies taxes on the citizens, he becomes responsible for the sinful activities of the citizens. In Kali Yuga, monarchy is abolished because the kings themselves are subjected to influence of Kali Yuga. It is understood from the Ramayana that when Vibhishana became friends with the Lord Ramachandra, he promised that if by chance or will he broke the laws of friendship with Lord Ramachandra, he would become a Brahmana or a king in Kali Yuga. In this age, as Bibhisana indicated, both Brahmanas and kings are in the wretched condition. Actually, there are no kings or Brahmanas in this age. And due to their absence, the whole world is in a chaotic condition and is always in distress. Compared to the present standards, Maharaj Gaya was a true representative of Lord Vishnu, and therefore he was known as Mahapurusha. Hare Krishna. So here the discussion is about Maharaj Gaya, right? So in Srimad Bhagavatam is glorifying the lineage from Priyavrat Maharaj, right? Bharat Maharaj, Rishabhdeva, such great kings, right? Which the world has seen. And here we are discussing about Gaya, the King Gaya. And actually, it is explained in the previous verse that Maharaj Gaya was not an ordinary human being. He was not Jiva Tattva. He was actually Shaktiyavesh Avatar, instead primal expansion of the Supreme Lord. So Lord Krishna also appeared as king many times, and he has actually ruled the planet. One such another avatar which a lot of people don't know is Prithu Maharaj, right? He's also an expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So naturally, the great activities that he did are so glorifiable, right? How he took care of people. Now here there are a few things in the purport. Sukadeva Goswami is explaining how he used to take care of his people. One is called Poshana, right? Meaning he would take care of their needs. Poshana, meaning the needs, right? Every citizen's needs for shelter, for food, basic needs, right? And the next thing that he has to take care is by developing those sweet relationships, right? By relationships, by giving gifts, by appreciating, by rewarding, right? That is called prenana, right? So first is Poshana, second is Prinana. The third thing is he would satisfy everybody by giving his association, by speaking sweet words of appreciation and recognition and encouragement, right? That comes under Upalalana, right? So first is Poshana, Prinana, Upalalana. And the third one, and the fourth one is he would give them the instructions, the direction of what one should do uh, to become a perfect person, to become a perfect contributor to the kingdom, right? To become asset to the society. What he would give instructions. He would tell what are the things one should do, right? So can you all repeat after me the four things King Gaya has to do, right? One is Poshana,
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 Prinana,
Prinana,
Upalalana,
Upalalana,
Anushasana,
Anushasana.
right? So the first part of the verse talks about as a king what he did, and the second part of the verse is talking about how great of a person he was as a householder also. So he was a father, he had a wife, he had children, and he had to take care of the household needs. He had to take care of the demands of the family, and he also had to take care of the demands as a king. And finally, he followed the regulative principles so strictly, enthusiastically, and he also inspired many others to follow and become God conscious, and finally became a great devotee, and he retired, right? So Prabhupada is explaining such people are so rare. Yeah, so rare. King has to be a Raja Rishi. Parikshit Maharaj is addressed as a Raja Rishi in the first canto of Bhagavatam, meaning he is a Rishi as well as a king, right? Rishi means somebody who has opinion, learns, and has spiritual opinions, spiritual perspectives, right? And he becomes as good as a Brahmana, but he's still a Kshatriya. To run a Vedic kingdom, you needed both Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. Administration is equally important as much as the knowledge, right? And realization. Both are important. So, here Prabhupada is explaining that in the age of Kali Yuga, we don't see such kings. We don't see monarchs. We don't see anybody who is actually doing it. Prabhuji and Mataji, without any hesitation, for the first time in my, whatever life that I've been on this planet, I'm seeing a real leader, who is showing some glimpses of how a leader should be, right? Narendra Bhai Modi, our Prime Minister, we all should be very fortunate, not because we are spiritual and we are Hindus and, there is aspect of Hindutva, we should talk about a leader. Forget about us. The whole world is praising him. The whole world. This Bhagavatam class is not about Narendra Modi. But I'm just telling you that here is a live example of somebody who is reviving temples, is empowering Brahmanas, is bringing back the Vedic principles into the society, establishing a lot of spiritual institutions and supporting them in the background. As a Kshatriya, stands on the border and gives assurance that he is there to protect. So many things, of course, there is so much hue and cry against him because it's natural. In Kali Yuga, he's doing activities which are not supposed to be done in Kali Yuga. Isn't it? These all activities should not be done. In Kali Yuga, we need a corrupt king. We need a corrupt king. How come a sincere king is sitting here? That's not acceptable. So obviously, we unfortunately we'll have to see one day where he is even brought down, where such kind of leaders will be brought down, because it's Kali Yuga. When Krishna left the planet, nobody was happy. When Krishna left the planet, Mother Ganges said, I'm going to run away. I'm not going to be here. I came here because you are here. But, so will we all feel when we see some good leaders with right conscience and virtues, they come and rule. And when they leave, it's a big loss. It's explained, in the Puranas that after Lord Ramachandra left Ayodhya. One, when he left to the Vanavas, the whole kingdom was crying. The whole kingdom was so much in pain, right? So that's natural, because they knew who Lord Ramachandra was, right? And so we will also, when we miss some very good leaders, we will actually miss them, because when they are there, their presence can be felt everywhere, right? Their ideas, their ideology can be felt everywhere. So was King Gaya. So he took care of the people's needs. Then he took care of their relationships, Prinana, by giving gifts. And that's actually giving gifts and accepting gifts and calling people for dinner and lunch, and you going and honoring when somebody else calls. They're all part of relationship. They're all actually part of bhakti. Don't think that they're material. This is all part of our relationship building, and it's mentioned very clearly in Bhakti, Upadeshamrita, right, by the Goswamis, that these are all part of it. So Prinana is very important. And third one, calling for meetings, satsangs, and actually telling sweet things, right? One of the aspects of mode of ignorance is people speak very sarcastically and very painstakingly and very insultingly. People in the mode of ignorance are very expert in insulting. They insult in such a way that the opposite person feels helpless. He doesn't know what to do. So badly they insult. That is mode of ignorance. Mode of goodness is sweetness, right? They don't insult. They never insult anybody. They constructively praise and recognize, and encourage. That's the word, encourage, right? Motivate people to get better in from what they are, become better, right? They never sarcastically criticize or comment or insult hypocritically. They would never speak about somebody at a different place. They would never do that. So here, speaking sweet words to people is something that the guy, King Gaya used to do, which is called as Upalalana. And then Anushasana, finally. When you do all this, then you can do Anushasana. You can't do Anushasana without doing all this, right? Anushasana means to instruct, right? To instruct. A lot of people, they want to speak like Prabhupada. Like Prabhupada would shout, in his sessions, you rascals, you people, you hippies, you'll never learn, whatever he would do. But we can't do like Prabhupada. Why we can't do like Prabhupada? Why we can't do like Prabhupada? Anybody? Why we should not do like what Prabhupada is to do?
We are not that pure like Prabhupada, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
We can't even reciprocate that way, Prabhuji. I mean, the way Prabhupada used to love them.
That is a point, right? Prabhupada also used to do Poshana, Prinana, and Upalalana. Then he used to do Anushasana. We don't have the patience to do Prinana, Poshana, and Poshana, Prinana, and Upalalana. We don't have that patience. We don't want to be good with people or have the patience of being good, but we want to instruct everybody. How will that work? That will not work. A mother can beat the child nicely because the mother loves the child also so much. Outside person can't do that. The child also will not accept, never accept. So in the same way, here also we see the king doing all these activities and finally instructing the people, right? Finally instructing the people. That is something that is needed today and always, right? We should be instructing. We also should instruct. After all the Prinana, Poshana, Upalalana, we should also do Anushasana. So Prabhuji and Mataji, in our lives also, when we become, when we start preaching, we have to follow the footsteps of King Gaya, right? From Bhagavatam, actually it is teaching that we have to follow. And who is a preacher here? Can anybody tell who are the preachers in this group right now? Okay, I'd rather change that question. I'd say that all 48 of us are preachers, right? Preaching means when you are His Holiness, what is it, Sannyasi Maharaj's name in Orissa? Hare Krishna. My mind is completely blank suddenly. No.
Gaur Govind Maharaj.
Gaur Govind Maharaj. Thank you. How could I forget his name? I love him so much. So Gaur Govind Maharaj beautifully said, preaching means an overflow of happiness, just like overflow of milk when it is boiled. Right? Preaching means an overflow of happiness, just like an overflow of milk. That is preaching. Right? It's not like, you go and start spilling milk on people. No. Or you just start sharing. No, you should actually experience what you are saying. Right? You are so convinced and you're so happy. You are so touched. You are so much engrossed, absorbed in what you're hearing. And then you share with others. Right? That is preaching. And preaching is an ability that is given to all of us. It's an ability given to all of us. Right? Knowingly, unknowingly, we have been preaching all our life. If not Krishna consciousness, something else. Right? A friend comes to me and says, "Are, chusava? Ente yen chudalra babu? Ade, adendadi Pushpa movie chusava? Chudaledu. Are, enta baadi, this, that." He went on telling for 10 minutes about the movie. And I'm just looking at him like, really? And he told so many things that, technically acting per se, this thing, that thing, that thing. He was preaching. Because he's so happy, with that movie. He's told he saw it like 4 times, like, come on, you also see. I know you don't see movies, but see, at least see sometimes, they're very good. Well, because that is preaching. Preaching means when you're thoroughly convinced, right? So one of the most important thing for a preacher is he should be thoroughly convinced. He should not have a doubt. Many people want to preach because that's, of course, it satisfies one's false ego that you're sitting here and people are listening. That is anartha, that a preacher should always keep a check on. Many people want to preach, but they don't want to follow. That is a big problem, right? Following is very important. Then preaching will follow, right? So they don't want to listen and follow the instructions of any Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru or any authority. They want to independently do what they want to do and they want to preach. Right? That disqualifies one from becoming a preacher. Because preaching means to help people follow Krishna. Isn't it? Preaching means to help people follow Krishna. So if you want to help people follow Krishna, are you following somebody in that lineage? Are you a servant to attract somebody to become a servant of Krishna? Right? Are you servant? That is the most important question. Are you servant to encourage somebody to become a servant? People can speak a lot of philosophy. A lot of philosophy people can speak. But that doesn't make devotees. Prabhupada and Matajis, if you're making notes, those notes will not make anybody a devotee. You're sitting in a lecture and you're writing notes. That notes will not make anybody a devotee, but your act of writing notes, if somebody looks at you writing that notes, he'll become a devotee. Right? Because he sees how nicely you are following your Siksha Guru, how nicely you're following your Diksha Guru, how nicely you're following Parampara, how much you're valuing the words being spoken. Right? That inspires people to become a devotee, not what you say. Everybody in this call has so much philosophy in their heads that they can take this class right now for 20 hours non-stop. So much is there. But along with that has to come the Prinana, Poshana and Upalalana. That is what makes devotees. Now, as I said in the beginning of the call, that today Yugal Kishore Prabhu is not there because of his commitment, his prior commitment that he had to fulfill. But I would like to share, some things that I have seen in him and many devotees like him, including His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, and so many preachers that I've seen in my life, how they perform this Upalalana and Poshana and Prinana. Their Anushasana, you all know. You will hear their classes. Their Anushasana, you will know. But prior to that, we should know how amazingly these devotees have sacrificed their happiness and actually, I will not say that they sacrifice their happiness, because they are more happy when they serve. Right? We feel that materially they are sacrificing things to serve, but a devotee never uh, feels unhappy serving. For him, service is everything. So, talking about Poshana, Prabhupada and Mataji's, starting with Srila Prabhupada, why Srila Prabhupada is so successful is because he lived with the hippies, he cooked for the hippies. Right? Can you imagine a 70-year-old person, just a 70-year-old person, cooking for 100 people with whatever that is available, and he will go and get the grocery every week in a foreign country, right, where it is very difficult to find anything Indian. Now you have Indian stores, you have so many masalas, everything you find there. But in those days, what was there? How was Prabhupada making prasadam? And it was so tasty. If you hear the old archives of Prabhupada, it was so tasty that people became devotees just by honoring the prasadam that Prabhupada that Prabhupada made, right? So much love Prabhupada invested, And if I see, even now the followers of Srila Prabhupada, his disciples, who are some of the great Maharajas, sannyasis, how they are taking care of the needs of the followers, right? How Prabhupada took care and how they are taking care, right? One devotee was telling me about one incident of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj was going in a car along with his disciples, and the whole journey got delayed, and these disciples were feeling hungry. So Gopal Krishna Maharaj didn't know what to do. He was very concerned that these devotees have not had prasadam for a long time. And he said, stop the car. And he got down, and there was a fruit vendor who was selling some fruits. I forgot the exact fruit that was mentioned. And then Maharaj went there, and he removed this, khandwa or gamcha, you can say, and he kept it like this and said, can you please give some that I can give to my devotees who are, our devotees in the car. They are very hungry. Can you give some? I don't have any money. I'm a sannyasi. And the fruit vendor, the person got so pleased, got so affected, by the love that was being shown by a guru to his disciples, that he just gave the whole cart and said, Maharaj, Swamiji, please, everything is yours. I don't need a single penny. Everything is yours. Let all of you have it. Nicely have, whatever you want, everything that is there here, right? So the disciples also became so touched by that incident, right? Prabhupada, when he was in Vrindavan, and the summers of Vrindavan are very, very hot. Let me tell you, the winters are so, and even the summers are so. The Mediterranean climate, right? And when his foreign disciples came from different parts of the world to Vrindavan, and when Gurdas Prabhu and Yamuna Mataji and many others, they all were constructing the temple, the Krishna Balram temple. Many devotees were falling sick because of mosquitoes, which they never saw much in America. They've not seen in many other countries. They've seen mosquitoes, too much heat, too much discomfort, no proper lavatories, and no proper accommodation. Literally, they're working. And Prabhupada was there. It's not like Prabhupada was not there. Prabhupada was there. Many times he came back, and he would spend time with them, and he would bring medicines for them. Prabhupada, in between the class or right after the class, he would call the devotee. You're not looking very active. Are you okay? Is your health okay? Do a thing. He would write a medicine because Prabhupada used to run a pharmacy. Remember? Prabhupada knew medicines very nicely. Prabhupada was a pharmacist at one time, a distributor of pharmacy, right? So he would write medicines and say, and also give money because Prabhupada knew these people have given everything they have to me. They are just living here. They are working for free. They are working for Krishna. So he would remove his little box and he would give some cash saying, please go take care of your health, take care of your situation. There was one devotee who shared about some leg infection he got in the leg, and Prabhupada practically treated it for many, many weeks. Prabhupada was calling and taking care, just like a father, just like a grandfather takes care of everything, tolerating all discomfort for giving comfort, for encouraging people, right? You must be amazed. How come Balgovind Prabhu, we all know Balgovind Prabhu, right? You must be amazed. How come Balgovind Prabhu takes class every day, right? We take classes on weekends. He takes class on every day morning, 2 hours, right? And one of the amazing thing about Balgovind Prabhu's classes is he speaks and then he hears a lot. He's not the only one speaking, right? He finishes his class in 1 hour, and 1 hour after that, everybody else is speaking and is listening and appreciating. How many have observed that in Balgovind Prabhu's class? There are some devotees from Balgovind Prabhu's class in this group. That's why I'm asking. Huh? Yeah? He will tell, okay, చెప్పండి మీకేమనిపించింది చెప్పండి మీరు చెప్పాలి.
అవును ప్రభుజీ.
And
చివరి దాకా కూడా క్వశ్చన్స్ అడుగుతూనే ఉంటారు. ఇంకెవరన్నా అది ఆన్సర్స్ ఇంకేమన్నా ఉన్నాయా అడుగుతారా?
ఇంకేమన్నాయా right?
Yes, Prabhu.
He keeps on asking,
He'll be asking, keeps on asking.
Yes.
అంటే పేషెన్స్. హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ. He has patience too much, ప్రభుజీ.
He has unbelievable patience.
ఒకటే క్వశ్చన్ 10 మెంబర్స్ అడిగినా అదే క్వశ్చన్ కి రిపీటెడ్ గా ఆన్సర్ ఇస్తారు. కాకపోతే ఎట్లా అంటే మనకు అర్థం కాకపోయినా, మనకు అర్థం కాలేదేమో అని మళ్ళీ చెప్తారు. ఒక చిన్న పాపని ఒళ్ళో పండబెట్టుకొని తల్లి ఎలా చెప్తుందో సేమ్ అదే విధంగా చెప్తుంది ప్రభుజీ.
చాలా బాగా చెప్పారు మాతాజీ. సో ఆయనక ఓపిక. How did he get that? So people who don't understand Telugu, Mataji was saying like a small child is told the same answer by the parent again and again. The child asks without any annoyance or any hesitation. The same way Balgovind Prabhu also repeats the answer again and again, right? And he gives so much time in his classes for people to speak, for people to reciprocate, right? He gives so much time. He can as well speak more Bhagavatam during that time, but no, he gives like let everybody reciprocate what they feel. Where did he get this quality from? Where did he get this patience from? Where did he get it from?
He's pure devotee, Prabhuji.
No, but where did he get it from?
By Krishna.
Guru.
Okay.
He got it from his guru. And who is his guru? Who is his Shiksha Guru?
Yugal Kishore Prabhuji.
Yugal Kishore Prabhuji. No, I'm not kidding. You should know this. Prabhuji and Matajis, Lord Krishna is your Diksha Guru. Lord Krishna is your Diksha Guru. Lord Balram is your Shiksha Guru. Don't forget that. Okay? Krishna is your Diksha Guru. The ultimate Guru who catches you and pulls you into the parampara and takes you back to Godhead. But Lord Balaram, of course, he is also the Diksha Guru, but he represents the Shiksha Guru. Right? The Shiksha Guru actually brings people to Diksha Guru. And I'm just muting. Yeah. So Shiksha Guru plays a very big role. Prabhuji and Matajis. I have seen, I personally did not get as much association of Yugal Kishore Prabhu as much did Balgovind Prabhu get. Right? As much did my Shiksha Guru brought me to Krishna consciousness. His Grace Srinivas Acharya Prabhu, he got. Right? But when I hear about the sweetness of the sweet exchanges between Yugal Kishore Prabhu and them in those initial days, it is unbelievable, right? There is a video I can't share with all of you. There is a video of Yugal Kishore Prabhu going to India. So he had a visa problem when he was in US, when he was taking care of preaching. So he preached for many years, and so many people became devotees. You can see Balgovind Prabhu, the like of Balgovind Prabhu, and Srinivas Acharya Prabhu, Mohan Lila Prabhu, Hari Chakra Prabhu. There are many actually. You don't know many of these names, but there is a whole group of devotees. Like we are all one group, right? We are all one group. Like that, there was a group of devotees, created by Yugal Kishore Prabhu. And let me tell you, these all people were staying in New York State, near New Jersey and all these areas. And Yugal Kishore Prabhu used to stay in New Vrindavan, which is in Pennsylvania. Almost 12 to 14 hours drive. Almost 12 to 14 hours drive. Prabhuji Mataji, please, please pay attention to what I'm going to tell now, because you should understand what is Poshana, right? Poshana and Prenana. This is the best live example, 14 hours. 14 hours. He would drive one way. He would drive 14 hours one way to give a 2 hours class in New Jersey for these devotees, and then drive 14 hours back every single week. And he was a 100% surrendered devotee, and he did not have cash. It's not like he had a lot of money. He never needed to plan how to go. Even to pool the money for the fuel. And he doesn't eat anything outside. He has to carry his prasadam wherever he goes. And all these devotees were new devotees, right? New devotees. So new devotees don't know how to take care of a sadhu. They don't know how to take care of a sadhu. Are you all following what I'm saying? He's going to a house where he can't expect some standards. He has to establish those standards there, right? So they don't even know that when a sadhu comes to your house, you should give him a asan. They should give him asan. You know what I'm saying? Like, Prabhu, sit on this. They don't even know that they should give him a prasadam garland from the deities. They should give him a garland. They don't know that, right? They don't even know how to treat him, how to respectfully behave in front of him, right? He is preaching to the new people, absolutely new people in New Jersey, right? How did he get in touch with them? That's another story. So these all people, they went to New Vrindavan for a visit. What is that big city near New Vrindavan? Columbus? No, I'm forgetting that big Indian temple. Forgot that big city.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yes, Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh. So they all went to Pittsburgh, and normally Indians, when they go to Pittsburgh, they also go to New Vrindavan, because somebody tells them that it's a must-go place, in Pennsylvania. So they all go to New Vrindavan. So they all went to New Vrindavan, and when they went to New Vrindavan, they saw this devotee serving in the temple. Yugal Kishore Prabhu used to do menial service, cleaning the floor, cleaning. I shouldn't say more than this. Cleaning everything. Just menial service. He did so much menial service for the temple. I personally have seen it. How he used to run around the temple and get things done. So they saw him there, and he used to greet people when they used to come to temple and make them sit down and talk to them. So he saw that all people are Telugu people, and Yugal Kishore Prabhu is a Telugu person himself. So he made them sit down and spoke to them, right? Thank you for coming. Ikkada Radha Vrindavan Chandra untaru. ఇది ప్రభుపాద్ గారికి కట్టించిన గుడి. చాలా కృతజ్ఞతలు మీరు ఇక్కడికి వచ్చినందుకు. మీరు రాధాకృష్ణ గురించి తెలుసుకుంటారా, భౌతిక చదివారా, తెలుసు. సో హీ స్పోక్ టు దెమ్ and he took the phone numbers. In those days, there were no mobile phones also, right? I mean, like, yeah, there were mobile phones, but not very cheap. So took the phone numbers of all those devotees. And after their visit, they all left. They all left New Vrindavan, which included our very dear Balgovind Prabhu, right? Srinivas Acharya Prabhu. These are the devotees I'm talking about. Stalwarts. We see as stalwarts today. They were the families, who went there. And when they went back, Yugal Kishore Prabhu used to call them. Once in a while. How do you receive a call for a personal loan, Prabhus and Matajis? When you get a call for a personal loan, we are calling from ICICI Bank. Do you want a personal loan? You are eligible. How do you treat? Bang! He would put it there. Inkosar phone chesi champuta. Who gave you the number? We shouted them. Like, Prabhus and Matajis. There were some people who shouted at Yugal Kishore Prabhu. Right? There were some people who were annoyed. There were some people who were annoyed of him calling, right? And telling, and why is this person calling? Why is this person calling? If they know who is calling, they see the number, they would not lift the call. Does this person want money? Why is he calling? He wants donations. This is a problem with temples, As soon as we give our number, they'll start calling for donations, right? They'll start calling donation, money. Yugal Kishore Prabhu never called for money. He was like, how can I serve you? How can I connect you to Krishna? Because his guru, his own Radhanath Swami Maharaj, asked him to preach. So he has to preach. Whom will he preach in New Vrindavan? There is nobody who lives in New Vrindavan. New Vrindavan is a temple. Only on weekends people come and go. But what would he do? Otherwise, how can he create? How can he preach new people? And they don't stay in New Vrindavan, so he can preach nicely. So he took this as an opportunity. How should I preach? The same spirit that Prabhupada had to preach the world for his guru, he also developed that great desire to preach. And Prabhupada and Matas, can you imagine? He used to call, and Balgovind Prabhu once shared with me, that he finally spoke to Yugal Kishore Prabhu. He spoke on the phone, and he used to speak for hours. For hours he used to speak. And Balgovind Prabhu was a communist. How many of you know this? A thorough, staunch Stalin communist. Like, no business, no God, no faith, no religion, nothing like that he was, And then he was asking questions, challenging questions. And Yugal Kishore Prabhu would clear those answers, on the phone. Everything on the phone. Everything was happening on the phone, right? Questions and answers, and so much patience, dealing very gently. Because even one word you say, little authoritatively, people will stop lifting the phone. Oh, 1 second. Even one word you say a little authoritatively, and people will like, no, I don't want to listen to you, right? 1 minute, Mataji. I have to take this 1 minute. Hare Krishna. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to pick up this call. It was my son who had to write exam today. He had to go on a ride, and that fellow did not have change. So anyway, we have to do what is needed. So what was I saying? I was talking about him traveling and on the phone calls, right? On the phone calls. So clearing all the doubts on the phone call, right? Hours and hours and hours. Now, Prabhuji and Mataji, do you know how come Balgavand Prabhu can answer for hours and hours and hours? Right? Now do you realize? There was one person who answered his doubts for hours and hours and hours. Prabhuji and Mataji, the good qualities that you see in a devotee are not his qualities, that are the qualities of his guru. If we have got any good qualities inside us, right? Any good qualities, that's only because of the good qualities of our guru, which have come on to us, Yeah. Can some of you turn on your videos? You know, it's a little difficult to speak a personal subject like that, looking at black boxes. I'm sorry to request. Yeah. So that was the kind of sacrifice that Digal Kishore Prabhu did. And then now I'm going to tell you about that video that I was talking about, right? Of Yugal Kishore Prabhu and all of them. That's what I started, and then I went back on this. So I have this video which I can't share with all of you, but I can tell you anybody who sees that video will cry, will simply cry. That is a video of loving exchange between Siksha Guru and all the people that he inspired. Yugal Kishore Prabhu had to leave America because after doing so many services of inspiring so many people, he had to leave America, and he was in New Jersey. He came to New Jersey. I think it was Balgavand Prabhu's house only, if I remember right. Little Raga, very, very small little, Haripriya, and, and the same old families, And Prabhuji was giving a session like it was his last session in America because he was not sure whether he'll come back to America ever, right? That was the session that he was giving. He had some green card problem, and he had to leave the country. And they recorded that session. And literally, Prabhuji and Mataji's, in my initial days of Krishna consciousness, I somehow got access to that video, and I did not understand how can somebody love somebody else so much. How is it possible? How come they're crying? How come they're weeping? That Yugal Kishore Prabhu is going. What did this personality do to them? He's just speaking Bhagavad Gita. Right? He's just speaking Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavatam చెప్తున్నాడు. What did he do? ఏం చేశాడు రా బాబు? ఇంత ఏడ్ చేస్తున్నారు. Like as if their life is going. All this, as I said, I can't share that video, but I can just give you a glimpse of how it was. Yugal Kishore Prabhu was speaking, and everybody had tears filled in their eyeballs, literally ready to cry. And Yugal Kishore Prabhu was also, so much in, totally affected that, he is going to leave, because a preacher is always worried about what will happen if I'm not there. Just like a parent, what will happen if I'm not there, right? The children can get lost, children can get affected. They might, same way even he was like that, And that video kind of made me think, what is this relationship between a Siksha Guru and people whom he cultivates? Prabhuji and Mataji, the word Guru, Siksha Guru, don't use it cheaply. Don't use it cheaply, never. And if somebody is calling you a Siksha Guru, you also don't take it, as if you are a Guru. It's a very responsible word. Siksha Guru annadi chala responsible position of being a Siksha Guru, because you are actually taking in charge, the responsibility of inspiring somebody to come back to Godhead. we all can start preaching and try to become a guru of some sort. People can call you a guru because you're representing the, but we are never a guru. We are never a Siksha Guru. Siksha Guru is a very, 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 very elevated position. When you look at Siksha Gurus like Yugal Kishore Prabhu, right? And now we have Siksha Gurus like Bhal Govind Prabhu, and Mohan Lila Prabhu, and so many other people who were, many of them who were preached by Yugal Kishore Prabhu are today Siksha Gurus of many, many, right? But what made them that is the love and compassion that they take, the responsibility that they take to bring people to Krishna consciousness, right? It's not an ordinary thing. It's not an ordinary thing. It's not about a position. It's about the sacrifice, right? So, so he would not eat much. And how many of you know that while he was driving from Pennsylvania to New York, once he completely slept because he did not have proper sleep. He did not have sleep. So he slept in the car while driving on the freeway. Yugal Kishore Prabhu slept and the car flew in the air. It was upside down, toppled completely. He could have died. He could have died, but thankfully Lord Narsingadev, Lord Krishna protected him. Did he stop traveling after that? No, he continued. No, I don't want to give up. My preaching, my service, I don't want to give up. Then these devotees, they started going to Nirundavan more often. So at least sometimes they can give him some rest. But he would never stop. And Prabhuji and Mataji's, he would not take a single penny. He would not take a single penny from any of them for coming so long to preach. Right? He would not. He would, and he would tolerate all the unknown faults that all of them have done, treating him the way he was treated. Right? Like one of them asked him to do Aarti of Sai Baba. He did it. Can you imagine? For why? For what? For that moment. For that moment, he did not want to displease. That person was not in a situation to understand the position of any Baba or any Amma in front of the Supreme Lord. But he did it to encourage. And then, of course, he explained and things are all clear. But imagine what those devotees would have felt later, what all they made him do. Right? He taught them how a satsang has to be conducted. By not conducting the satsang, he taught them with humility how to conduct the satsang. And he was such a personal friend and well-wisher. One of his, one of the devotees tells me that Yugal Kishore Prabhu used to come to their house and he would go and open the small cupboards in the hall and see what is there. And if he sees any book or if he sees anything that is not favorable for devotional service, right? Or a cassette or a CD or something which is not favorable for devotional service, he would put that in his bag and take it. Say, "Meeki idi avasaram ledu. Avasaram ledamma, meeki idi avasaram ledu. Amma, meeki idi avasaram ledamma. Nenu tiskeltanu." Like a honest brother, like a father, he used to do that. Brothers and Mataji, today, these all, yesterday evening, Yugal Kishore Prabhu was there in Bhal Govind Prabhu's house. And Bhal Govind Prabhu called a very closed, small group because anyway, today was a big program, so he didn't call many. And Yugal Kishore Prabhu also wanted a small, very small satsang. So he called the people, immediate people who are helping him in preaching here, locally, whoever is helping him in preaching. And thankfully, he called me to also come. But the sweetness in yesterday's satsang was so much that upalalana, prinana, Poshana could be felt there, you know. There were, and Survi Mataji was doing the Mridanga and sorry, the Kartal. And when Yugal Kishore Prabhu started singing, Survi Mataji was like, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. He was like literally jumping, you know, and just saying, Prabhuji, I can remember those 18 years back, you know, the 20 years back, how you brought us to Krishna consciousness. So sweet, you know, like so sweet, so much filled with gratitude. They fast on the day Yugal Kishore Prabhu birthday, because for them, he is God. I mean, he is the one who brought them to God. You know what I'm saying? That is a gratitude. And it is not told to outside. And Yugal Kishore Prabhu would never, maybe he'll ask me to delete this lecture also. Because, you know, but I want to tell all of you that this is what, now, how did Yugal Kishore Prabhu get all this? How did he get this patience? How did he get this love, compassion?
Surrender
From his Guru.
from his Guru, yes.
Simple. Prabhuji and Matajis, don't even think twice. Don't even think twice to understand the position of Guru. Yugal Kishore Prabhu got this from his Guru. Right? Recently, I was driving Radhesham Prabhu, one other exemplifying personality. We can speak for days about, you know, how he does what he does, his service. So I was worried that his Prashadam time was, you know, he has this Ayurvedic problem that if he doesn't have his Prashadam at a certain time, it gives him immediate migraine. And he can't continue the day. It's very difficult. He has to have a Prashadam at a certain time. Particularly that time, immediately, you know, the pitta in his body got triggered and immediately he has to have Prashadam. And it got delayed because he had a meeting and he had to come to VSK. It got delayed and we did so many things to bring the Prashadam on the way. And then literally he had the whole Prashadam, you know, like his servant made the Prashadam. 5 minutes he had the Prashadam, 5 minutes. Breakfast. And he only eats 2 times in a day. You know, breakfast Prashadam. And if you see the Prashadam is just boiled things and some vegetables, that's all. Right? And I asked him, Prabhuji, let's go to the ashram and I want you to, you know, it'll be nice if we can sit down and properly have Prashadam. He's like, Prabhu, this is how I am. Every day goes like this, he told. I said, what? Prabhuji, you never have Prashadam properly sitting down. I said, no, Prabhu, where is the time? Where is the time? Prabhuji and Mati, how many of you know that we all nicely sat down and had Prashadam in VSK? Raisham Prabhu had Prashadam while coming in the car, while going in the car. 5 minutes. That is how much time he gives for eating Prashadam. 5 minutes. 10 minutes, max.
Yes, Prabhu. While going in the car, he just asked me to stop on the road and he ate Prashadam there.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu,
And that's all it is. That's all it is for many years. Completely engrossed, absorbed in his service.
Yes, Prabhuji, it happened with me also. He didn't even stop the car. At that time, the van was going from the temple to the satsang. He was eating on the way, Prabhu. I was so embarrassed, like, you know, that, that he was doing.
Same here, Prabhu, same here. Even while I was taking also, he did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that is called, Prabhu, that is called Prinana, Poshana. You know, that is what it is. You have to understand, you know, this concept that we hear in Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see it in reality in these devotees. How they are taking it from their Guru and how they're passing it on. Once I wrote, yeah.
Sorry, may I know who is the Shiksha Guru of Yugal Kishore Prabhu?
Who is the Shiksha? Okay, this is a very nice thing. So, Yugal Kishore, I don't want to speak more because I don't know all the details, but little that I heard from him directly. His Shiksha Guru, or rather Vardhamana Pradakshi Guru, is the one who did not come to Krishna consciousness. So he introduced him to Krishna consciousness in Singapore. So he was in IT and Prabhuji went to Singapore to work in Singapore, and his roommate took him to Krishna conscious satsang, and he never became a devotee. So he's Vardhamana Pradakshi Guru. And then he became very inspired to take up devotional service. And he became very inspired. He moved to US with another material project, and then he started serving his guru himself, his own is Radhanath Swami Maharaj. For him, Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, everything is his own as Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And of course, he must have had other people who inspired him in the process. He must have had Siksha Gurus. But
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I heard one name, Bhadra Govinda Prabhu, because when I was in Singapore, I was actually part of the same Bhakti Vriksha. So there used to be, they are all roommates under, and there was a Bhadra Govinda Das who used to take satsang under, and they were, all the bachelors at that time, and one of the Prabhuji is Yugal Kishore Prabhuji, and when I went back to the same Bhakti Vriksha, they told me, Yugal Kishore Prabhu. So I just heard about Yugal Kishore Prabhu in Singapore at that time.
Hare Krishna. So, I mean, see, but there is one thing always, that we should never discuss a sadhu's past, because every sadhu has a past and every sinner has a future. Both are there, right? So, sadhu's past has to be seen that actually they're not ordinary people, just like you and me or anybody like that. They are very special souls selected by the Supreme Lord for propagating his mission. So the sacrifices, so the gratitude that I saw yesterday when he was doing the satsang in the eyes of Surabhi Mataji, Balgovind Prabhu, the amount of love and affection, how Yugal Kishore Prabhu was looking at Haripriya, the little Haripriya that he knew, who had just taken birth at that time, and how he was telling oh, Haripriya, so nice kirtan you are doing. You're doing like a pro. He was saying, you're doing like a pro. You're doing like, a perfect professional. Then Haripriya was like, yes, bro, yes, bro. Like the whole exchange was filled with poshana, upalalana, prinana, right? It can't be, and I was never preached by Yugal Kishore Prabhu. I was preached by my Siksha Guru, was preached by Yugal Kishore Prabhu. I always envied the relationship that my Siksha Guru has with Yugal Kishore Prabhu, because I could never get that relationship, and it's not possible. That's a different sweetness in that relationship that Yugal Kishore Prabhu has with everybody that he preached, right? I'm like the grandchild, you can say. Yugal Kishore Prabhu preached Srimad Prabhu preached me, and Yugal Kishore and Balgovind Prabhu also preached me, like that. So the amount of love and affection they carry for each other is unbelievable, and Prabhuji and Mataji, that is what brings them to Krishna consciousness, not the philosophy, the sacrifice and the love and all those sweet exchanges that have happened keeps them in Krishna consciousness, right? So as a preacher, Prabhuji and Mataji, as a Krishna conscious devotee, like I said, how many preachers are there in the call? All of you are preachers. You should take care of Poshana. You should take care of Palalana. You should take care of Prinana. All the three things. Huh?
All are preachers, Prabhuji, as you said.
Yes, of course, we are. Yeah. We are preaching somebody, right? We are preaching somebody. Knowingly, unknowingly, we are. So before you tell people, stop onion garlic, before you tell people, stop eating meat, before you tell people, stop this, stop that, we have to stop expecting. Before you tell people anything to stop, we have to stop expecting that they will stop. Then only you can preach. Right? If you go and sit there and judgmentally start expecting people will follow what you say, you're not preaching. Preaching means you stop expecting all these things and just preach with pure intention to serve. Because that is what all these devotees did. That is why they have achieved what they have achieved. The big results, the big, scale of amazing devotees. the big scale of amazing devotees that that Balgovind Prabhu has, you can see as Balgovind Prabhu and so many other devotees, all happened because of the sweetness, the encouragement that they received from Yugal Kishore Prabhu, right? And today I chose this verse because Yugal Kishore Prabhu is not there, in this call, and I was asked to give a Bhagavatam class in the last minute. But how could I miss his association? So I'm not missing his association by speaking about him and all the people that he has preached. And probably there are so many more stories. If I keep going, there are so many sacrifices, done by these devotees just to keep people in devotion, right? I cannot share some more personal things without that permission. So I'll not get into more details. But all I can tell Prabhuji and Mataji is, we should have lot of gratitude. The Lord Krishna has somehow brought devotees into our life. Lot of gratitude, and we should never lose the respect towards the people who brought you to Krishna consciousness. Never, whatever happens. Siksha Guru is as equal as Diksha Guru. In fact, our movement of ISKCON is a Siksha Guru movement than a Diksha Guru movement. It is explained. Ours is not saying that, here is a Diksha Guru, here is Diksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Diksha Guru. Bimal Prasad, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur already had a Diksha Guru. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a Diksha Guru. But he took Siksha from Jagannath Das Babaji. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took Siksha and Diksha from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. So ours is just not a lineage saying that, okay, we are a parampara by Diksha Guru. It's by Siksha Guru also. And primarily our movement strength is the Siksha through the Siksha Guru. Right? And how the knowledge was passed on is not by Anushasana, but before that by Prinana, Poshana, Palalana. That's very important. It's very important. So Yugal Kishore Prabhu is to bring so many gifts. Can you imagine a person who doesn't have any money is buying gifts and coming and giving it to people just to keep them in Krishna consciousness? He would bring big pictures of Radha Krishna, and give it to them, keep in your house. Big calendars he would buy. He would buy tilak boxes. He would buy so many things, give it to them, and do that. And so is the case with his guru, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, when he preached in Chaupati. That's another big saga. How he served the devotees. That today Chaupati is what Chaupati is. It's called Chaupati, famous for devotee care and great devotees, great amazing Vaishnavas who have come out of that place, who are running massive projects around the world. All happened because of the sacrifices, the personal sacrifice of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. How many of you'd be amazed to know that Radhanath Maharaj would go to every person's house to see how he is doing. Can you imagine? He would literally take a bus or a train and go from one part of Bombay to another part of Bombay to his disciples' houses and other people who are inspired, their houses, to see how they are doing. Personal taking care. And I'll tell you one more Sannyasi Maharaj. This was unbelievable. When I heard this, there is a Prabhu. His name is Ojas Prabhu. Ojas Prabhu. He lives in Australia, and his Guru Maharaj's name is Veda Vyasa Maharaj. Veda Vyasa Priya Maharaj. If I'm right, the full name. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. Veda Vyasa Maharaj. Yeah, in ISKCON. He told me that whenever he visited, who is visiting here? Not Maharaj. I'm talking about him, Ojas Prabhu. When he visited the city, to meet his guru would come to the train station to pick him up and bring him home. Can you imagine? Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, to what extent can you go? Right? To what extent can you go to serve? Right? His disciple is coming. He would go all the way to pick him up. Yeah. Right? So this is the beauty. This is the beauty of service, which our Siksha Gurus have shown to us, and which our great sannyasis have shown to us. And I'm so excited and happy because in another 5 minutes, Yugal Krishna Prabhu is coming to our home here. He came to our home in Greenville when we were living in Greenville, completely a place where there are no devotees, and we are doing a small satsang. So Prabhuji came and conducted SSR in our house. So he's coming. It's such a special moment. So Prabhuji and Mataji, is my only humble request to all of you. Can you on your screens for one last time? Thank you very much. Yeah, because I should know whom I'm speaking to. So my only humble request from to all of you is, please take these exchanges of devotees very seriously. Recognize the sacrifices that they're doing to keep you in devotion. They're doing all the sacrifices to keep you in devotion. They're not going to get anything material out of it. And for once and for all, nobody needs your donations. Nobody needs your donations, right? Devotees don't want anything. They just want you to progress. They want you to progress in bhakti. And for that, they're doing sacrifices in and around you. Please recognize that and join them. So you also get the blessings of Lord Krishna. So you also lead a purposeful life. And become Krishna conscious. The greatest joy a Siksha Guru gets is when he sees people coming to classes. Because everything was done for that one thing. Not only his classes, but anybody else's classes. We should go to those classes. That is the least thing you can do, is reciprocate by attending classes. And another thing that I request is, come out of this online thing and start going and attending in person. Take that little pain of unmasking yourself out of Corona, right? And start going. Because I'm telling you, this is what pleases. I have seen my Siksha Guru, how happy he used to feel when I used to enter the class. This fellow has come, because he has shredded out liters and liters of blood for a rascal like me to come to Krishna consciousness. And then I think that I think I'll go if I have a mood to go. No. Our gratitude is to go and to reciprocate to Krishna, thanking Krishna for sending him in our lives. So thank you very much for your time. This is Bhagavatam of 5,000 years old. And I also told a Bhagavatam of 10 years old. Right? Bhagavatam means loving exchange between devotees. Right? And Bhagavatam is continuing. Don't think Bhagavatam 12th canto is over. Bhagavatam is continuing. Chaitanya Charitamrita is continuing. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is continuing. We are all part of it. If we are all sincere, there will be a Chaitanya Charitamrita that will be printed 400 years later with Adi Leela, Antya Leela, with 15 books. And in the 14th book, there will be a reference of the Satsang in Gachibowli also. Because we are all part of Chaitanya Leela. Chaitanya Leela never stops. Srimad Bhagavatam never stops. Devotion never stops. Our mercy never stops. Gates to Goloka are open. Gates to Goloka are open. Hear that clearly. Gates to Goloka are open. Grab it. Run. Right? Follow the Siksha Guru. Follow the Diksha Guru. Take initiation. Become serious in bhakti. Get out of this world. This world is not a place for gentlemen to live. Right? So get ready. and let's go back home, back to Godhead, back to Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Right?
Hari Bol.
So I humbly request all of you to come and meet Yugal Kishore Prabhu today from 10 to 4 o'clock. And then most of us are going to Abbott's Temple as well. So please do that. What are they doing in Abbott's Temple today? They're doing Prinana, right? Prinana, giving gifts. So let's go and receive them, right? So Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Dandavot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavats.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavats Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam.
If I spoke anything, wrongly, please forgive. I'm seeking forgiveness from my Siksha Gurus that without their permission I spoke something. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, morning, ekkada Prabhu, morning, Yugal Kishore program.
Ikkada, Green Grace.
Green Grace Prabhu. Green Grace apartment.
Yes, Green Grace apartment clubhouse. The
Prabhuji, can you share the location, Prabhu?
Yes. Yeah, it's simply write Green Grace, Nanakram Guda.
Okay.
Or you write Goloka in Gachibowli.
Here, Rama.
Okay, all of you come. Let's meet. Let's spend a whole day together. Huh?
Prabhuji, any reference has to be given on the security gate?
Oh yeah, totally forgot. I'll talk to them, Prabhu. I'll just talk to them. You can tell them program in the clubhouse.
If you come in a dhoti kurta, he'll pay obeisances and send you inside.
Okay, Prabhu.
Clubhouse program, yes. You have to park outside, Prabhu, and just walk a little bit inside, but that's
no problem, Prabhu.
Please come in devotional attires, please. It'll be nice ambience. It'll be a nice feeling seeing everybody and nice devotional attire. Not a condition, but please come. Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.